Hello everyone, welcome to this series on the history of English literature. And in this video, we are going to discuss the development of prose in the age of Pope. Introduction. The age of Pope, also known as the early 18th century, marked a significant period in the evolution of English prose. This era witnessed the emergence of periodical literature and the flourishing of the essay form, laying the groundwork for modern journalism and narrative prose. In this video, we explore the development of prose in the age of Pope, focusing on the rise of periodical literature, the essay, prose narrative, and miscellaneous prose. The rise of periodical press. The development of periodical literature during the age of Pope represents a distinct advancement in English prose. The first periodical published in Europe was the Gazzetta 1536 in Venice, which served as a manuscript newspaper providing updates on the war with the Turks. In England, new sheets began to appear during the reign of Elizabeth I, but their publication was irregular, typically occurring only when significant events made their sale profitable. The first regular English journal was a weekly publication started in 1622 by Thomas Archer and Nicholas Bourne, focusing on foreign news. These publications, known as Corantos, continued until they were banned in 1632. However, they reappeared in 1638 when Nathaniel Butter and Nicholas Bourne obtained a monopoly on printing foreign news. Governments during this time were wary of the power of the printed word, leading to frequent prosecutions of journalists and publishers, as well as the suppression of periodicals. The political turbulence leading to the Civil War produced a surge in journalistic writing, with the emergence of newsbooks and diurnals that for the first time in 1641 began to include domestic news. These newsbooks laid the foundation for modern newspapers, featuring editorial comments and reporting on current events. The Civil War period saw the proliferation of various ephemeral periodicals such as Mercuries, which were published by both Royalists and Roundheads. In 1682, the freedom of the press was restored, leading to a boom in periodical publications. The first daily newspaper, the Daily Courant, was published in 1702 and survived until 1735. The early 18th century saw fierce political contests between the Whigs and Tories, resulting in the rapid expansion of the press. Notable publications included Defoe's Review 1704, a Whig organ, and its Tory counterpart, The Examiner, which featured contributions from figures like Swift and Pryor. The publication of The Tatler by Richard Steele in 1709 marked a significant shift, as it evolved from a newspaper into a literary journal, with daily essays becoming its most prominent feature. This trend continued with The Spectator, begun in 1711, solidifying the literary journal as a lasting institution in English prose. The rise of the essay. The essay form, as defined by Samuel Johnson, is a loose sally of the mind, an irregular, indigested piece, not a regular or orderly composition. This definition, though incomplete, captures the essence of the miscellaneous prose essay that gained prominence during the age of Pope. The essay is characterized by its brevity, unmethodical nature, and personal tone, written in a literary, easy, and elegant style. The roots of the English essay can be traced back to the Elizabethan period, with the works of writers like Lodge, Lyly, and Green. However, the first true essayist in English was Francis Bacon, whose essays, published in 1597 and later expanded, laid the foundation for the form. Bacon's essays, while philosophical and thematic, lacked the intimacy and personal touch that later essayists would develop. Abraham Cowley, 1618 to 1667, advanced the essay form by introducing a more personal and discursive style, bridging the gap between Bacon and later essayists like Addison. The character writers of the early 17th century, such as Joseph Hall, John Earle, and Sir Thomas Overbury, also contributed to the development of the essay by providing short, pithy sketches of various character types. The advent of the periodical press in the early 18th century gave the essay form a significant boost. The work of Addison and Steele in The Tatler and The Spectator set the standard for the essay, developing it into a versatile and influential form of prose. Other notable essayists of the time included Jonathan Swift and Alexander Pope, who contributed to various periodicals, as well as Daniel Defoe, whose miscellaneous work covered a wide range of topics. Prose narrative. During the age of Pope, prose narrative began to emerge as a distinct form, though much of it was still disguised as allegory. Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels and Addison's The Vision of Mirza are prime examples of this trend. Swift's work in particular marked an advance in narrative prose, as he subordinated the allegory to enhance the satire and the story itself. The prominence of fiction became more noticeable with the publication of Daniel Defoe's novels such as Robinson Crusoe. These works represent the transition from allegorical narrative to the novel proper, a form that would be fully developed in the subsequent decades. Miscellaneous prose. The age of Pope also produced a considerable body of miscellaneous prose, including religious, political, and philosophical works, many of which are satirical in nature. Jonathan Swift was a dominant figure in political prose, with works like The Drapier's Letters and the religious satire A Tale of a Tub. Other notable examples include Bolingbroke's A Letter on the Spirit of Patriotism, political, Berkeley's Alciphron, philosophical, and Steele's The Christian Hero, religious. Conclusion. The age of Pope was a period of significant development in English prose, marked by the rise of periodical literature, the evolution of essay, and the emergence of prose narrative. The advancements in prose during this era laid the groundwork for the modern forms of journalism, the essay, and the novel, making it a pivotal period in the history of English literature. The contributions of writers like Addison, Steele, Swift, and Defoe continue to influence the literary landscape, showcasing the enduring impact of the age of Pope on the development of English prose. So this was the discussion on the development of English prose in the age of Pope. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other topic. Until then, goodbye and thank you.